Do you recognize this? Or this? Maybe even this room? Do you feel a bit unsettled by it? Maybe you even feel comforted.
Hold on to that familiarity. We're going to need it for later. Hi guys, it's Gabby Zacconi, your junior editor-in-chief of the Rambling Raider. And for this month's edition, I present you with a video article. I had to switch it up somehow. Anyways.
What you're seeing is a liminal space, a threshold between two different realities. They act as a transition between two places. The reason they feel so familiar? We're stuck between our material world and another unknown. That's why we're so unsettled by the images. There's a hint of unexplored territory, and as humans, we don't like that.
Now, many people, especially anthropologists, use the symbolism behind these spaces to explain what's going on in relation to their own lives. For example, some may refer to themselves as being stuck in a liminal space during the process of a divorce, where they aren't in the past, but they aren't in the future either. They're not, on their own yet. In short, I like to think of them as a waiting room for the next curveball life throws us.
These spaces are often open and empty because they're meant to reflect on ourselves. This isn't a group thing, sorry. Sadly, it makes the thought all the more creepy as these spaces are usually abandoned with no other beings left but yourself. If you're a pessimist, liminal spaces are a labyrinth in which we could theoretically go insane.
But this is actually explainable. All of these photos have no context. There are no hints as to what's going on, and since most of these places are usually full of people, when they're not, we feel really uncomfortable and it makes the space eerie. It reminds me of that first episode of The Twilight Zone where the man is all alone in an abandoned world. We find the world uncanny without any familiarity. However, these places are familiar because we've all been here once or twice before in our own lives. I mean, think about it. You've been to a playground before, and you've most likely been to an old mall from the 80s that hasn't been renovated. And we've all been to an office building at least once or twice in our own lives. It's when these places are devoid of human life and typical human objects that we begin to become uncomfortable.
Some liminal spaces stand out more than others, though, as the architecture of the building or just the general setting is plain strange. I mean, look at this banquet hall. Why is there only one table underneath the brightest chandelier in the room? It's a little eerie if you ask me. It reminds me of something out of Alice in Wonderland, and, similar to what I was saying before, it's out of the ordinary, so naturally, as human beings, we don't like this.
Even if liminal spaces are scary and uncanny, I wouldn't worry about them. They're merely places in our everyday lives.
This is just an average office building. This liminal space is literally just an outdated Taco Bell from the 80s. And this is literally just a playground at night.
Either way, liminal spaces are a fun aspect of life to explore. They bring us together with their familiarity and their peculiarity, and make us question our own existence as a whole. That's it for this month's article. Bye guys!